Hey guys, welcome back with another video with Linksy. How is everybody doing? Today we have a short and quick one. We have a 2 versus 2 land battle. Good old Legido's back and he sent me a replay. He's playing with Greece, and so that's definitely going to be an interesting scenario. We have Pontus and RDI versus Athens and Parthia. So let's get cracking. 16 minutes in. So Pontus has a quite compact formation over here. Celtic warriors, Pontic swordsmen, and some Eastern archers. There's Pontic Royal Cavalry, couple of chariots, as we can see from there, and Illyrian. The AGIs have Illyrian hoplites, nobles, some peltasts, marines on that side, with Toro spears on both sides. It seems mirror formation, and on the other side, what do we have? We have some slingers. Forming the front lines, Parthian foot archers, which are a really good unit in this formation. Toro spears, picked hoplites on the flanks, a rear charge of Paeos lancers and citizen cavalry over there. Some mercenary hoplites and Persian hoplites. So this is going to be an interesting core, and more veteran hoplites on this side. So a lot of hoplites being set up. Noble cavalry, Eastern cataphracts and Royal cataphracts for Parthia. The formation that the AGI and Pontus are taking is very aggressive. They're moving forward quite aggressively. The cavalry from Athens is, on the other hand, moving to the side to try and counter the move of AGI on their flank, whereas the cavalry from Pontus is going to try to deal with the other side. The thing is, cavalry does really bad against AGI, and the Illyrian Marines are sure to rip them apart. Illyrian Marines have a 20 bonus versus large, but what is really powerful is the Illyrian Taurus Spears, which have cavalry counter tactics, and they have 10 versus large. Wait, they have 20 or so versus large, but I think that goes to 45. So that's definitely something to be scared of. And for the infantry battle themselves, the hoplites will hold their own very well, and the chariots from Pontus will do insane amounts of damage, apart from the fact they do have naked swords in the front lines. And I saw some Celtic warriors, who also do very well against Taurus spears and hoplites and such. Slingers are being pulled to the side, and the slingers will probably be used to try and deal with the oncoming forces. Whereas on the other side, the Parthian foot archers are doing their thing, and chilling on the flank and holding their line over there. Troops are moving around. Oh, I should have really made my coffee, but I forgot to make my coffee. Oh boy, every morning, same issue. Coffee. AGI is being ridiculously aggressive over there, bringing forward his peltas to the flank as well, while Pontus is taking the other flank. The sandbanks over here being taken to the defensive position, and this is going to be an interesting side. The Parthian foot archers are opening their first salvos into the Taurus spears, which have a reasonable armor, 65 armor. They're really cheap units, reasonable armor, mostly due to their melee defense armor. They have 35 shield value, meaning that in the front they get more armor. Now the Pila from their end being thrown to the Parthian foot archers, and these guys are not having a good time at all. These guys' missiles are so much better in terms of dealing with these troops, and a couple of volleys in already doing a lot of damage. These horses over here, the Noble Blood Cavalry, just getting slaughtered by the Pila from the Marines and the Taurus spears, and the hoplites are being pulled into the flank to try and deal with this. The first unit of Taurus spears has been broken, but these Parthian foot archers are not doing very well. 2 units of Taurus spears versus 5 Parthian foot archers is interesting. Cavalry charging straight into the Taurus spears over here, which are going in box formation. They're gonna lose a quite decent number because Royal cataphracts are ridiculously strong, but the Royal cataphracts have fallen into a trap, and now they are getting slaughtered by the Illyrian Marines, which are just throwing in their Pila from the flanks. It doesn't show for now because their the missile damage is taking away from the armor and the health. 110 armor, 120 health does a lot of damage, but we've seen very soon why they will get damaged. The cataphracts over here are taking a lot of damage as well. Those noble cavalry is getting slaughtered. These are super cheap units versus the top tier elite Parthian cavalry over there. The general over here, 130 kills and already lost 20 of the men over there. Not the best. A charge in the center, it seems, by the Pontic Royal Cavalry, picking off the light hoplites relatively easy over there. More troops are being pulled to the side by the AGI player, who's trying to hold on the cavalry, doing rather a good job of it. Where's the... Wait. Where is the cavalry for the Greeks? So he has 2 cavalry over there, but I'm not sure. The general for Pontus being rather brazen in the assault over here, charging into the rears of these hoplites and just smashing through the front flanks of this force. He probably would get a really good charge into these Parthian foot archers over there. Yeah, he actually did. Wow, that is a long stretch. Chaos Lancers coming in from the brush, and they're going to be taking these Eastern Archers quite effectively in the rear, but at the same time these Chaos Lancers themselves are ripped to shreds. That's a really good trade, Eastern Archers, for that kind of unit. This Pontic general over here did a really good job in relieving the pressure on the Illyrian front, and that is giving him a break. From the side of Parthia and Athens, I mean, Athens is spreading its forces really thin and is trying to make pressure, but it should be pushing now. The majority of the forces and attention of the Illyrians and the Pontic troops are on their flank over here. On Parthian flank. They should be pushing in and putting pressure, trying to break this side. The moment the amount of effort that's being placed in here to try, all those Pilas are getting lots of good connections over there. There's not really a space to miss once you're throwing Pila in that angle. These archers coming back for more, even though quite a number of them are being flattened by the own chariots, but those chariots are going to get a really good charge into the flanks of these units. And that's going to do a lot of damage. What is this? Oh, the chariots pulled back. No. Oh, it's going to get a really good side charge into these hoplites. And it's just going to pull straight through them and just rip them apart. The chariot themselves were going to get some damage because they're getting focused down, but they are getting a lot of damage in those veteran hoplites, which are a really expensive unit. Number of them are dying, but 40 kills. Again, not ideal for chariots, but they definitely are doing their damage. They're pulling through somehow. That one died. And the last one is pulled off the field of there, and they'll probably come in charging again later. So there's a complete commitment of forces on this side. The Peltas are shooting down the citizen cavalry. Peltas can hold their own quite well against that, so it will be relatively easy. The hoplites are being engaged as well as these support from Eastern Archers coming in. Hippeus Lancers over there charging once again in. That Hippeus Lancer unit is gone for and done for. Parthia is completely isolated over here, and most of its forces have been engaged, so it's not looking good. Missiles into the veteran hoplites, mercenary hoplites this time, and they're going to get side charged, and they move the last second and engage the Illyrian raiders from the flanks over there. The noble cavalry over here is breaking. Most of these cataphracts are not paying for themselves. They need to be getting hundreds of kills. I think the only cataphract unit that did really well is the general, but I think it also is dead from what I can see now. It's over here. 33 kills. It's not the ideal. Citizen cavalry pulling back and doing its thing. The chariots once again charging in now, and now finding the soft underbelly of the Persian hoplites and doing a lot of damage there, getting a lot of kills. The naked swords charging in, trying to pin down these veteran hoplites and doing as much damage as possible. However, naked swords, as the name implies, do not wear much armor, and they're getting a lot done to them. Pontus moves in closer and solidifies the position it was. Yeah, its allies fighting in, and it seems as it's going, Pontus and the AJ are going to win this quite comfortably. The Parthian army is losing too much, whereas the AGI army is pretty much still intact. The missiles over here are almost dead. Troops over here are getting charged. Light militia is not something you want Celtic warriors to charge into. These Celtic warriors are going to get a lot of kills. Even though there are slingers getting the shots into those flanks, it's still a completely different story. Pontic swordsmen coming in and are surrounding the remainder hoplites. The hoplites are no way, shape or form set up in any form of line. hoplites, and noble hoplites are protecting these eastern archers from those cavalry charges. And over here the formation is pulling even closer. More and more troops are being pulled back towards the Parthian side by the Athenians and the Parthians, and the massacre is going to continue. There is a mass rout that's about to happen over here. 2 Parthian foot archers are routing. They are getting really good shots into those Taurus spears, which are slightly out of position. I understand they're trying to shoot at those mercenary veteran hoplites, but they would be better suited if they just charged through this way. There seems to be a lack of cavalry from this side of the... Ooh, chariots over here, flattening that slinger unit. Getting really good shots over there. These Taurus spears do not really stand a chance, and these light hoplites, very lightly armored hoplites, they're just a snack for these chariots. These picked hoplites getting charged in the rear will also suffer a lot of damage. So again, these chariots coming back around again, noticing that the slingers are not completely gone, and just removing the remainder of these hoplites. Realizing that the slingers are getting too close to the picked hoplites, which are strong enough to just hold the chariots in place and break them. These picked hoplites getting rear charged is not ideal, but these are like super heavily armed troops. They have a lot of armor. We're talking 105 armor, they have 77 melee defense, they have expert charge defense, they have discipline. They will last a long time. Those light Taurus spears will not do much, but it will just do enough. These Taurus spears over here running in, trying to bring into the range of the citizen cavalry. They shoot in the citizen cavalry from the flanks, missing a few of those shots because of the charge speed bonus. These Pontic swordsmen getting charged in the rear by Hillmen, the best unit in the game, of course. There are some pikemen in the front and center over here holding the line, more light hoplites, but it doesn't seem to be that there's going to be much hope. The entire flanks is collapsed for Parthia, and Greece is holding on by a mere thread. It's cavalry charging around, and Parthian troops over here are all but dead. How many troops? The mercenary hoplites are coming in to try and surround these troops, but there is not much hope to be had. These naked swordsmen breaking, and the archers doing their thing, and the slingers doing their thing. Those naked swords did not get that good kills. Celtics over here charging in. These lights and hoplites getting peeled, and there's cycle charging happening over there. A rear charge will happen on these militia hoplites, and on this side veteran hoplites are doing their best to hold on. Mercenary hoplites are doing their best to hold on, but of course there's a limit of how much damage you can do. Over here, unit of citizen cavalry is finding the rear of Pontus, and it's going to go for a rear charge. These chariots are almost 300 kills, and those chariots getting almost 500 kills between them as of now. Definitely doing really well. A rear charge into those Pontic swords didn't really get triggered because they realized through their pila in, and the citizen cavalry are doomed. Hillman over here breaking, hoplites doing their thing. 400 kills on this singular chariot over there, and if it gets into the center of those archers, that's going to be absolute GG. Although the chariot itself is breaking in morale, if it manages to just get one singular charge over there, it will be game over, but it seems it's shattered just in time, giving the defenders one last chance. But now the Illyrian troops, the Illyrian hoplites, are in the middle of the archers, so I believe this is GG. There's still some Taurus spears over here. The picked hoplites along with the citizen cav cleaned up the flank over on this side. A lot of damage is being done by Athens now that it has actually started fighting, but it's absolutely too late. They've spread their formation in a really imbalanced way. They didn't abuse the fact that the entire AGI army was out of position at the start. They stayed where they were and they defended. They didn't attack, so that's something to keep in mind. Troops charging in, and again more charges happening. These troops are pretty much all that's left for Athens that is not engaged, and they're completely out of position, impossible to be defended. The only thing that really saved the Parthian and Greek armies that much is the lack of cavalry by their attackers, because if they had nimble cavalry at this point, the game would be already over. A complete surround would have happened already. And I think this is game. This is absolutely game. Yeah. These guys are just running after these slingers. I mean, the Pontic general is dead. Yeah, it's dead. The Illyrians over here doing decently well against most of the troops. They did bear the blunt of the cavalry, and that's not always a good indication of how they did. These troops are just running and trying to skirmishing down whatever they can, doing the best they can. The mercenary hoplites over here being quite useful because it's giving the Pontic swordsmen back to these archers, even if for a split second those however break. Units being able to flank. The general has been flanked. Army loss penalties are going to be triggered soon. The citizen cav trying to do its best to try and trigger any form of routing. Again, it's now Pontus versus Athens. The forces of the AGR pulling in rank. These poor Illyrian marines, they're like, oh boy, we're gonna just sit here. These veteran hoplites are being forgotten by Athens, who's probably trying to micro his best of his potential. These slingers thinking that he'll be able to get a few kills, but he's getting surrounded from every single angle, and his front line is all but collapsing. I mean, his picked hoplites are gonna hold in for a long time. They're a ridiculously strong unit. The militia hoplites are, however, are not gonna do so. Yeah, I mean, this picked hoplites is doing a lot of damage, especially combined with the slingers. But now the Pontic swordsmen are about to charge into these slingers, and these slingers are just going to drop down like flies, and it is going to be I mean, it's the end game for them. These slingers will break and die really quickly. 80 down to 76, so it's not gonna go very pretty for them. More slingers over here doing their thing and getting really heavily damaged. Yeah, this is GG. That was a fun, interesting battle. I liked the Parthian action over in this side, especially with the AGI. The way they tackled the cavalry was quite interesting. The chariots are always fun to see, flattening entire units almost in an instant. And the mix of units. This is, by the way, guys, now that we've seen this, I forgot to make the announcement. I should put it in the title. So Greece was AGI, Legidor or Charlie Minium was Pontus, Carphaza is Parthia, and Old Gun is Athens. Okay, so what is the announcement? The announcement is we have a new tournament coming up. The tournament is going to be based on Rome 2, land battles, 2 versus 2, where you are allowed 5 missiles, 3 of which are bows, 2 of which are skirmishers. You are, or bows or slingers. You are allowed, there are an entire set of rules. I'll put the link to the Discord where you can sign up. It's 2 people with 1 substitute, and there's going to be a prize for the first place, which we'll be announcing very soon. With that said, guys, thanks for watching. Hope you have a lovely time. Subscribe to the channel, please, if you do ever so like. And I'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye. Oh, yeah. Really amazing kills by both Charlie, Minium, and Grease, and Karfsa and Old Gun doing really well as well. I must say though, Chariots broken. Okay, bye bye.